And they crucified him. This is all that the evangelists tell us about the crucifixion. And then they describe to us what happens around Jesus, but they never tell us what happened to Jesus. But what did Jesus really go through in his passion? We can only guess, we can only imagine. But some experts have studied the crucifixion, which they said that the Romans during the time have perfected. And this is what they have to say. The victim is either tied or nailed to a crossbeam that normally is used to secure a huge heavy door. And then this crossbeam is attached to a 6-inch high vertical wooden beam. The victim's foot is also nailed to a piece of wood attached to the lower half of the beam, and this is used as a footrest so that the victim can prop himself up and catch his breath. But as he hung on the cross, the pain of being nailed at the feet and the cramps on his legs slowly make it impossible for him to support himself. And when he can no longer prop himself up, he simply slumps down, causing the nails on his wrists to pull on them and tear his skin and rip his tendons, causing the victim great pain. Eventually, the victim dies because of either the loss of blood or the inability to catch his breath. The great amount of suffering that the crucifixion brings to the victim may cause him to panic, thereby hastening his death. Thus, it would not be surprising if Jesus, while hanging on the cross, cries out instead, "I am finished, I am a goner," as he surrendered his spirit. But this was not what happened. As Mark reports, when Jesus had taken the wine to quench his thirst, he said, "It is finished." And bowing his head, he handed over the Spirit. It is finished. This is what Jesus cried out. With these words, Jesus perhaps affirms that he has carried out his mission of showing us an alternative path other than what the world teaches us. Through his life, his words and deeds, he has shown us the so-called road less traveled, where we are asked to choose to love rather than to hate, to affirm rather than to be envious or jealous, to accept God's plan for us rather than to be bitter about it, to be honest than to fool or to cheat or to lie to another, to stand for the truth rather than to compromise for selfish gain, to forgive rather than to hate and seek to get even with others. It is finished. Through these words, although in pain, Jesus perhaps screams in triumph because he has put an end to the reign of sin and death. He has shown us that it is not death that has the final word in our lives, but eternal life. He has shown us that it is not darkness that will reign in our lives, but the light of truth. He has shown us that we can put our faith and trust in the goodness and providence of God because He will never let go of us, no matter how our gloomy and seemingly hopeless situation try to convince us otherwise. Mohandas Gandhi has put this lesson so beautifully in the following words, and I quote, "When I despair, I remember that all through history, the way of truth and love has always won. There have been murderers and tyrants, and for a time they can seem invincible. But in the end, they always fall. Think of it, always." End of quote. It is finished. Indeed, Christ and His cross has brought an end to many things. An end to death, to lies, to hatred, to division. Many things were finished on the cross, including the rule of evil, of sin and death. It is finished. Because Jesus uttered these words, we can now believe in the sun even when it is not shining. We can count on love even when we don't feel it. And we can put our faith and trust in God even when He is silent.
Receive, O Lord, my liberty. Take all my will, my mind, my memory, all things I own, and all I own are thine. Thine was the gift to thee. I all resign. Do thou direct and govern all its way. Do what thou wilt command, and I'll obey only thy grace. Thy love on me bestow, these make me rich, all else will I forego. Do thou direct and govern all its way. Do what thou wilt command, and I'll obey only thy grace.